Dear brothers and sisters, I stand before you today as Demonic Abyss, a man of newly rediscovered faith and a servant of the Lord. In my final month dedicated to this YouTube persona, I want to share my experiences in the hopes of helping others who may be struggling to stay on this path of righteousness. I wish to spread my own experiences to my peers. I've been involved in many battles throughout my time in the bottom of YouTube, and as the head and sole remaining member of the unofficial DA detective agency. Regardless of how you may perceive me after our war with the Rockafire Mafia, I do not define myself by my past. My desire to serve my home country, the United States of America, and my faith in God are now what guide my actions and my beliefs. In the early stages of my adulthood, I committed myself to this career as a YouTube commentary channel. 7 years of entertaining, and I've actually accumulated a modest following of over 3,000 subscribers. I've made a lot of fond memories and formed some amazing friendships that I will carry for honestly many years to come, that I'll carry to the grave because I value that time I had in my life. But there were times I was led astray by the temptations of perceived fame, the idea of power, and oftentimes revenge. I embodied the philosophy of eye for an eye. The desire to surpass those who turned their backs on me, those who stabbed me in the back, was what lit a fire inside me to succeed. Through my experiences in being a leader of the community, I've learned that true power is in faith, and that there is a great importance in redemption. I've witnessed and experienced destruction in this social media battleground. Sometimes battles need to be fought, sometimes these are important causes, but I've learned that not every single battle can be won. I withdrew from the battle against the Mafia, and I lost the battle for my relationship, both of which I was unwaveringly committed to. However, I have been able to heal in my new commitment of religion. That brings us to our current topic: why it's important to hold on to faith in the chaotic, troubling nature of our modern world. Faith gives us the ability to find hope and maintain strength to carry on in the face of adversity. I've enjoyed relearning the lessons of the Bible, which are grounded in morality and teach us that there are consequences to every action. Honestly, as a child, I wish I would have paid more attention to it. There were times where I was sitting at the back of the church with my Game Boy playing Mario or Sonic on silent. And I love these games, but these would have been very valuable lessons for me to have as a child. But I also acknowledge that we currently live in a world that is vastly different from our ancestors. The basic acts of survival, like farming, bartering, foraging, all of that has become obsolete. And the evolution of technology, which, despite giving us a lot more luxury and comfort, even more opportunities when it comes to personal success, it's also given us a whole new set of problems and bred entirely new ways of thinking that absolutely challenge what we've traditionally known to be true for decades, right? It's hard to follow in the examples that have been set centuries ago when the world has changed so much. I think that despite the world becoming more and more complex as we get older, and even just from my own experience, I've only been on this planet for 24 years, but even in my life, there is a lot that I've noticed has changed, especially post-COVID. I think it's important to hold ground in the traditional beliefs that helped our forefathers carve out a future that we now currently reap the benefits from. There were farmers that worked the ground that fed our ancestors, soldiers that fought in the trenches to keep our freedom safe, and churches that have offered teachings to provide guidance and combat the spread of moral decay, which I think has the potential to be our undoing. We saw it with the Roman Empire, for example. And traditionalism also establishes a sense of community. Regardless of background, there is importance in coming together, regardless of what religion you follow, where you were born, the race of your skin. We all have our own unique skill sets and a path for us set out by God. In our current society, people are taught to believe they are special, and they eagerly want to check every single box. Mental illnesses now get turned into personality quirks. They are no longer seen as hurdles or trials to overcome. It's been romanticized to a point where people don't even want to get over what they're diagnosing themselves with. What we see on TikTok, for example, there are plenty of people now claiming to have dissociative identity disorder, or they're now collecting pronouns on their Twitter bios like badges of honor. everyone thinks they're like a modern day superhero. I think that way of thinking is ultimately going to cause our society a lot of problems, but there is a way for it to be fixed, and it's simply just to have conviction in your own values and to ensure that those values are passed on to the future generation.